Bada bing, bada boom. You know what it is. Geeks Chat. We're live with the Dragon. Mason Jones, he's back. Let's go. The Geeks Chat alumni himself. I think we've been on with him a handful of times. This guy never disappoints. He's coming off a 2-fight win streak right now. Cage Warriors GOAT, question mark. I mean, he's 10-0 at Cage Warriors. Just got another finish, back-to-back finishes. Mason, bro, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Yeah, good. Yeah, sounds amazing when you put it like that. I got super confused when they kept saying that this is my 10th fight in Cage Warriors because I was like, I'm sure my last one was. But when I checked through, I had one fight which was on the Cage Warriors Academy show as a pro. Apparently they don't class that. So better way to put it is, bar the UFC, I fought every single one of my fights bar one inside Cage Warriors. The only one else I fought on a small Welsh promotion based in Swansea, and that was because Cage Warriors couldn't get me back out towards the end of the year. So all the rest of my fights, they've been either Cage Warriors or the UFC. So I think that really just shows like the talent I've been since I started. Like I was either fighting in Europe's biggest promotion, or I was fighting in the UFC. So yeah,
No,
crazy.
100%. And anybody that knows MMA knows that Cage Warriors is at the top when it comes down to finding regional talent, the talent that's even out there in the world in general. You know, everyone's flocking to Cage Warriors. That's kind of the whole scene. I mean, being undefeated your whole way, that's crazy, bro. So let's talk about this last matchup, bro. You came out against a guy who he's fought in KSW, he's fought in Brave FC. You know, he has experience. He had a good record. You know, 9-2. That's a crazy good matchup for you. Definitely a lot to prove there. You come out, you get the big finish. Did that fight kind of go exactly how you saw it? What was kind of your mindset entering that fight? Obviously, you coming off a win, but what are you looking at? It's a tough opponent.
It was just awkward. We looked at this footage and we've been analysing it and looking at it for weeks. And it was like, look, he doesn't really have anything that you can't deal with, you haven't seen before. He's just extremely awkward. Basically, the whole thing was when you land on him, he'll slow down. Um, so we put some stuff in place, was ready for a lot. And then I decided on the night when we warmed up that I wanted to change a few things from the plan. Sorry, I've been eating shit since I fought, and it's literally just it's hit me for six today. I think that's it. Now I'm back on a diet, but
Just the shit.
anyway, we changed so that I started to work everything off the oblique kick mainly because we always knew that he was gonna. He either throws he's a southpaw. He either goes off his right leg with a snap kick where he just sends it upstairs. He sends like now and again he'll do a high 45 and he'll send it to the head, or he throws a big back leg power. So his backhand was his power shot, his back leg was his power shot, and he really does rip people apart with it. So we turned it up on the night, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to work everything off the oblique just to kill his style because it'll make him super uncomfortable. So we warmed up with it, and I went out, and they were like, look, let's try it. If it doesn't work, we'll change it up. And literally, as soon as I started throwing it, he just couldn't get comfortable. I kept him comfortable. I fell in once or twice a little bit. I got a little bit keen to sort of get him involved, and he hit me with like I think he hit me with like a 3-punch straight combo. Not too much power, but just enough to hit my head back a little bit. And I was like, oh, I give him a nod, smiled. I was like, okay, motherfucker. And then at the end of the first, I think it was a minute to go, I cracked him an uppercut and his legs went. And I was like, oh, he's done. So I started piling the pressure on. A bit smarter than I did in Rome. My coaches were a little bit annoyed in Rome that I literally at one point just full on sprinted from one end of the cage to the other. So bit of smart pressure, kept it on him. He had a couple of wrestling exchanges and just managed to survive the round, which was annoying. I was hoping to get him out there in the first. And then I wasted no time in the second and put it back on him and started catching him. I did get annoyed though because he had that stupid fucking haircut. I sunk the RNC in behind his chin, locked the gable grip up, and then because of I had it bent under and it was quite deep, so I punched deep, and as I punched deep, I punched my hand in and got my hand stuck in his fucking hair. So I literally like I had to pull my hand back out and pulled in, and I went to punch it back in, and he managed to reach up, get his fingers in the inside of my gloves and peel off. So I was like, oh, I'm not dealing with this. So I just went back to mount and then started hitting him with the elbows again, and it was I spoke to the referee after the fight, to Mitch. Mitch is an incredible referee, and I said to him, I said, he said, look, I'm sorry, like I knew I warned him multiple times, like you couldn't quite get that finish. I said I thought it was an early stoppage, and he just looked at me. I was like, I still think it was an early stoppage, only because uh, he was doing well to defend himself. I can understand, like every time. For people who don't see it, what the referee says as soon as you start taking shots is like, get out there. They'll say, get out there, get out there. And on the third time, if you haven't moved or done anything by the third, get out there, they're going to stop the fight. Obviously, unless you spark KO. So every time I was like piling the pressure into him, and he was like, Jan, get out there. And he'd start moving and doing some weird roll, or he'd like manage to reverse me, or he'd like do something really awkward. And it was just like, I just couldn't quite pin him down. But it was literally like I was hitting him with elbows, and his face was like. I remember you can see it in the footage. I land over the top of him, and I've got him pinched between my knee and my elbow, and I'm literally just hitting him with 12 or sixes in the side of his jaw. And every time I'm hitting him, it's literally his face is just spraying blood, and it's literally just spraying over the canvas and spraying on my leg. And you don't really notice my leg too much until the timer goes and I stand back up the end of the first, and the bottom trouser leg of my shorts, they're literally drenched in blood. The point of they would literally stick into my leg because they were that soaked in blood. I don't even know where it was coming from because I don't think I cut him. I think it was just all literally just spraying out of his nose. Like I must have broke it with the uppercut because a couple of the uppercuts I hit him with, you could tell we're just crunching him, and I slowed him down with a nice few knees to the body. The 45, the body kick went in nice, and it was just sort of like I just chiseled away at him. Which wasn't a flash knockout I wanted. I made a few mistakes. Like I checked his kicks lovely, but I wasn't answering off his kicks. I should have made him pay for a little bit more. I could have changed my legs, my hands a little bit more. But again, it was just I didn't really need to get out of first gear. There was no challenge in it. Like I didn't start. Like you watch my fights, like you watch the Mike Davis fight. Where we go. I have to go into second and third gear. You watch even the Onama fight where I was ruined in that fight, and I had to get into second gear for that, and that was the same thing. It's like just see the repeated non-stop.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so like the last time we talked to you, you were talking about how like you hadn't been active and that you were like, foaming at the mouth to just get back in there. But, here we are a couple months later, you've got 2 fights rattled right off, So my question is, in that year layoff that you had, full 12 months, I know it was tough for you battling injuries and doing all that kind of stuff, but what do you think is one of the biggest improvements or some specific improvements that you think that you've made to your game in that 12-month period?
So one of the things I always say, and I've just said it to one of the younger kids who he just had one of his, I think it might have been his first or second or third amateur fight. He's only 16. Tate, he's a killer, but he's that weird build where he's like 6'3" now, where he just keeps like he's got shit issues, just keeps growing up. But he's super skinny.
That.
But he had a fight on the weekend, the same night as me actually, and it wasn't one of those fights where he took too much damage. It wasn't anything like that. But somehow one of the body kicks he took, which he didn't even look like he took anything seriously, managed to cut his liver, which I fucking never heard about. But I think it's just because he's so tall and skinny. So he has to have 6 weeks off. So he's been going stir crazy already, and it's been less than a week. And I literally said to him, just literally just have a holiday, just have a week, put your feet up, don't do anything, and then you can start dribbling back in, train as the doctor tells you. I was like, but slowing down and working on things that you need to work on outside of camp is the best thing you can do, because when you're in fight camp after fight camp, which is what I'm happy to do now, I'm rolling through. I told you earlier, I'm going to start dieting tomorrow now, hopefully to fight in December. December, anywhere from the first week of December through till the end, I'm happy to fight. We're just trying to find where he'll pay me the money. Pay me the money. But like working on like slowing your game down and working on the holes that you've developed as you go along is the hardest part, because when we're in fight camps, we're only sharpening tools we've already got. So going back and thinking that's not working right, I need to develop that is a completely different fish to we just need to get fit, we need to get fast, we need to get hard. So they are different. And for me, I went back, I worked on my footwork, I worked on my balance points, I worked on like loading my legs. I hit a lot harder than I did in Cage Warriors. It shows because I hit people in it now, and they I haven't really sparked anyone out yet, but I've been hitting people and it shows. I hit Ribeiro and Ribeiro looked for a way out. I hit Yan with an uppercut at the end of the first, and he was literally like going anywhere but in into me. Like I was surprised he answered the bell, to be fair. Like he didn't want to be in there after that. So for me it's been working on my basics, different things. I've been working a lot on my jiu-jitsu, even though it was embarrassing when I got on someone's back and couldn't finish him. But like I've worked so much, like even the system where I didn't get the RNC, I switched to the arm triangle switch. I rebalanced the legs, got into top position, and started raining elbows down. Like that's all stuff I've been drilling. We literally just spin around and around and around these cycles. And like there was another stage where I could switch the legs back, but I didn't really need to because I knew he was looking for a way out. But I've been working on these systems and these control systems and literally just causing damage to people. And like I have gone from level to level, and I have improved to where I am at the moment now. I think that I'm ready to blaze a trail. So for me, like I'm hoping to get one more out before Christmas, and then we'll slow down. But I I'm I'm not looking to take my foot off the accelerator anytime soon. Like I said, the Ribeiro fight, I got hit twice. Once on top of the head, and once with a push elbow that didn't really do anything. And I managed to tear a small ligament in my ankle, jumping over the cage at the end, being an idiot. This time, I've done something to my elbowed him. I think I've cracked or just irritated the bone. And I've got a bruised knee from checking kicks and this.
Nice little
So,
shiner.
which is nothing for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, if someone breathes on me too hard, sometimes I blacken. So, like, nothing is an excuse to ease off for me. These have been the lightest fights I think I've ever had in my career. Is as in like, it's the first. These two fights have been the first fights where I've literally been able to walk after fights. Normally, my feet are fucked.
Yeah.
So, whether that shows I'm improving, whether that shows I'm just developing, or whether it shows I'm just running through people, take it how you want to take it. Maybe a bit of all.
Yeah, I think how the geeks take it is that this guy Mason Jones comes in there and he just fucking puts it all out there. You know what I'm saying? Like full entertainment, full speed. I mean, just damage, bro. Like you're the epitome of damage, bro. So like
No,
how
Mason.
come
No, we're aiming it. Oh, I forgot about this. So,
what happened, bro?
no, this is hilarious. So, when I ran out of the cage after the fight, I was looking for a kid on the side, who basically, when Yan did his walk, they cut metal clips out of Yan's hair. Yan decided he was going to put like fucking 10 or 12 metal hair clips in his hair. So they were cutting them out because obviously they would have been they would have been in my face. Like he already cut me to pieces with his
Yeah, it would
nails.
have been
His
like
nails.
mace. It would have been like a mace, like the whip, like that
I
would.
know. So they cut these metal clips out of his hair. So we were stood waiting to walk for ages, and like I was trying to bounce in the spot, and it was all uneven and loads of shit. So my coaches kept looking off to my left. So I was facing the opposite way from the cage, away from the cage, and they kept looking over to my left. So when I looked, there was a kid there, and he had something wrong with him. God love him. He had an Irish flag on. He was stood there, and he had a few deformities, put it that way. So I went across, I gave him a hug. He said something to me which I couldn't really hear. I gave him a knuckle bump, and he just gave me the fucking biggest smile, and I walked back out. So when I finished the fight, I was like, I want to go and find that kid because, like, to be fair, he looked so happy just to see me, and like everyone's always happy to see you walk, but you could tell like he was super happy to see me. So I went to give him my gum shield. Couldn't find him anywhere. Where he was gone. I think he'd gone back to his seat. I couldn't see him looking around. There's too many people. And they were like, get back in the cage because they thought I was obviously trying to start fights with someone. And they thought I was looking for my flag. And I was like, no, I'm trying to find, what did I say? I can't find the kid. So anyway, I went back in, spoke to the Cage Warriors crew, and they was like, oh, we'll see if we can find him. And then all of a sudden they said, oh no, we found the kid you were speaking to. When I'm seeing him, we found the kid. So you come back in the changing room. So this kid comes in, obviously heavily disabled. They've just found a random disabled kid in the crowd. It's the completely wrong kid. They've just brought a random disabled kid in. So I was literally like, oh, we're going with this now. So it's like, oh yeah, I seen you in the crowd. I spoke to you before I walked. Like, thank you so much for the support. Here's my gum shield. And the kid just sort of like looked at me and was like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like smiled, give me a hug. We had a photo and he left. And as soon as he left the room, the cameras were turned off. I looked at him. I was like, it's the fucking wrong disabled kid. You've just brought a random disabled kid here. And they were like bright red in the face laughing. But like, oh, honestly, like, it was just how happy he was with himself. He's like, I found him. We seen the kid you was talking to. Da, da, da. I was like, you've literally just gone in the crowd and found the most heavily disabled kid you could find and brought him backstage. I was like, what are you doing? Like,
Did you even
so
confirm with
yeah,
him?
fuck's
Like,
sake.
come on, ask the kid a couple questions at least. Like, come on, man.
Well, he didn't mind. He was just like, oh, Mason Jones wants to meet you. So he's like, oh, yeah, sound.
Yeah,
But yeah,
perfect.
he was cool anyway, and he got to come backstage and see us in the warm up room, and it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, that's hilarious, bro. That is funny stuff. But I mean, talking about coming off these wins and you're wanting to fight in December, like we're like seriously talking about one of the hottest prospects on the regional scene. Like, because we see it time and time again where guys, they leave the UFC, they go fight like one time and they're right back in. You're on 2 fight finish streak. You're talking about December already. So at this point, you gotta start looking like you're right there. Like at this point, you're pretty much a phone call away. So like in your opinion, what do you think is going to be the landing spot for Mason Jones the Dragon? Because we do see the PFL blowing up nowadays. We know the UFC like always has a surplus of talent and that kind of thing. So, going back over there might not be the same kind of pop. So like what is kind of like your whole team thinking? Like what are you thinking?
I just need to work on developing myself. And like, I don't just mean my fighting ability. I'm doing that myself. I need to work on developing my socials. I need to work on developing my bank account, which like it wasn't until I bounced back out the UFC that I really understood what people said when they were like, you need to be looking at the money because like there's so much like that road to glory you see and that road to the fucking belt and like everything you see is such a good it's such a good thing and it's such a wonderful thing to look at. But they always say the worst roads are paved for the best intentions. And like, I was trying to live out in California, do these camps and do all these things and trying to, like, when I say I was trying to live the lifestyle, I wasn't trying to live lavishly. I never tried that. I've never tried to live above my means. Just anyone who's American, like, I never understood when people say about how expensive California is until I was living there. We was living rough as hell. I was training in the gym nonstop, eating the cheapest way possible, getting back and forth the cheapest way I could. And I was spending 2,000 a month minimum. And it's like, it sounds like a lot of money until you work it out. Like I was out there for 9 months at a time, sometimes without fighting. It's like, your money doesn't last when you're like that. Like sponsors here and sponsors there, and you pay for flights and problems and this and that, and surgeries, and all of a sudden you've just got no balance pool. And it's like we spoke about Mike Perry before we started the interview. Like if you look at Mike Perry's performances in the UFC, he had some good performances, but every single one of his performances, he said, I'm struggling to make money. Every single one. And he had these 50-50 performances where he had his girlfriend in his corner, he couldn't afford to have coaches, and he was struggling. As soon as he went and started getting paid, his performances have skyrocketed. Like he's not peaking. There's no way he's peaking. He's past his peak point. All that's happening is he's got the money to support himself financially in a stable environment and be able to comfortably start looking. So rather than look like fuck, I need to fight to get paid. My knee's fucked. Don't worry about it. I'll have to fight, get paid, and get the UFC to pay for it. He's like, I can rest it. I can work on things. I can take my time. I can take these big fights, and I can build my profile. And it's like for me, I need to like for me, my number one thing at the minute now is I need to get my socials in. I want to start podcasting again. I get a podcast going. I want to start the Dragon Day stuff again. I want to get a film crew back involved, and I want a full-time social media team working around me. So for me at the minute is trying to work. I want to get a big contract where one payday puts my socials and supports me for the entire year. Like I want to be fighting for 100K, one fight 100K every time. If I can get that in the mix, that basically means that like I'm more than capable to support myself. I can start building on myself. And people always look at it and they're like, "Oh, well, why do you need 100K? Like that's a large figure." Because one, I deserve to be paid that much easily, and two, by the time I look at my expenses and where I want to be and the money I need to invest in myself to get where I need to be, that's the money I need to be earning. And that's the money I've earned before. Like my debut fight, I had the 50K bonus, I had this, I had another fight. And with sponsorships and stuff, it took me over the 100K in my first year. So why not? Why should I be going backwards? Like my performances are only improving. It's just at the minute it's a shark. It's one of those sort of those games where you can be in the UFC earning 250K and fighting the same level guys I'm fighting in the UFC in Cage Warriors now, or you could be at the bottom of the UFC earning less money than I earn now and fighting against Mike Davis, fighting against bloody David Onama, fighting against people like Ludwig Klein. Um, Obviously, the only fight they gave me that was good was Alan Patrick, and that motherfucker found any way out.
Yeah, he squirmed right out of that. And that's a very interesting point that you make because it is a super common thing that, these young fighters where they're like, "Oh, to make it to make these runs, they have certain people in their ears saying, "Well, you need to get the right training, like you need to be in the right gym and you need to do all this kinds of stuff." And it's true to like an extent. Like making sure that you are getting those hard rounds and you are getting those good training partners is 100%. You need that kind of stuff. But like for guys to completely like relocate, like I feel like you said you was kind of one of your struggles was like you just kind of picked up your shit and moved to California. And it was like I feel
It
like
was the right thing at the time. It definitely
right.
was the right thing at the time. But like now, I just don't see the demand there anymore. I just don't think it's as necessary. Like now, you can build where you are. Like I'm not saying you can build it. You can just train in the same team you always have because that's a mistake guys make. I still see they train in these local smaller MMA gyms in Wales, and they're like, you grab everything you need in the gym." That is such a fiction. You are literally in a dream world. But then there's like Tiger Muay Thai. There's all these gyms in Thailand which have a fraction of the cost. You got gyms like Renegade in Birmingham. Like I've still not trained with Renegade. Mainly just because every time I go to end up taking short notice fights, and I'm like, well, I can't change anything now because you don't change things when you're in camp. Like I said, that's for when you're in development time. Oh shit, sorry.
No, you're all good. But yeah, no, like that's kind of like getting to like my point is like obviously you need to be at these places, you need to be getting these looks, but like to like completely relocate and just like drop
Yeah,
your weight at one place, it's like you're really taking a huge gamble.
you
You're
are.
limiting. You're kind of limiting yourself in a way. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Some people will, move to ATT down here from out of the country. They turn into superstars, no doubt. We see it all the time. But for each his own. You know what I'm saying? Each guy, like you
Some
need to
people
just
just
kind of
drown.
understand. Yeah, what do you need work in? Where's the best gym to go to? What can I afford? When is the best time to go? All these kinds of questions are questions I don't feel like young fighters really ask themselves. They kind of just, oh, I want to be a champion. This is how you do it. This is how this guy did it. This is how I'm gonna do it. So it's
Yeah.
it's very interesting, and I really appreciate giving your insight because this is very valuable information for young guys.
So one thing, if you're going to listen to anything I say, because most people ignore what I say, if you're going to listen to one thing, um, a championship team is a team that's built around you. That's for every single fight. You look at anyone, name one champion, and that's not true for in this day and age. Habib had a team built around him. John Jones had a team built around him. Cody Garbrandt had a team built around him. Who else we got? Adesanya, obviously City Kickboxing, but they build it around individual fighters. Poirier's the same.
Yeah.
Gaethje's part of three fighters out of one coaching team. Their coaches literally give them so much time. If you go in, like that's the thing. If you go to a super gym, you get drowned out. Which is what I mean by drowning, which means basically you just get buried in a sea of other fighters, and you just get recycled through and use the training body. And like if you win, great, they'll start putting more time into you. If you lose, like he wasn't good enough.
He'll get pads tomorrow. Yeah, no, I get 100% what you're saying. So, I mean, we got 7 minutes left here, so I got a couple more things to burn out before we jump off. I got some predictions I need from you, bro. We got Volk Islam that is coming this Saturday. What's your take? And I got a couple other ones too. But what's your take on Volk Islam? Short notice, that's tough, but he's a tough dude.
I think Islam's going to crush Volk this time.
Just bigger, stronger. More, you just already seen it. You think he kind of got shocked in that first one?
I just think he overestimated him the first time and didn't stick to his strengths. He came out trying to strike with Volk, and Volk was trying to wrestle with Islam. I think Islam's going to come out and he's going to bury him with a wrestling exchange in the first 10 minutes and just beat the fuck out of him. I think he stops Volk.
Fair. That's a fair take. All right, and then we got we were talking a little bit about the boxing kind of stuff. Francis Ngannou, Tyson Fury, dude. Are you giving him any chance?
He's getting paid.
He's getting paid for sure, but like,
Getting paid.
is that it?
I don't. These boxing fights. I don't know. I don't think Tyson's. Is Tyson going to turn up to fight him, or is Tyson going to turn up and make him look good?
Yeah. No, I one of my other geeks, he had a whole take. We just posted it, and he was saying that these kind of gimmick mismatch, these fights, they're built to just the A side win by decision. Like just kind of carry the other guy through. Don't kind of make any too big a splash, but just get your money and go.
Floyd Mayweather's in the Conor McGregor fight, in the Paul fight, and some of the other fight he did. He literally sparks the person out accidentally and then holds them up and lets them recover.
I mean, there's definitely some takes out there where it's like these fights are
He's done it 3 times. He's literally like he dropped McGregor with a rock to rocked him with a shot, and like just literally just sat on him and laughed. The Paul, he hit him with the right hand, and you could see he was like fuck. I was like underneath him, holding him up, like pretending to have a little thing just so he recovered and let him recover. He's just like,
yeah. And then you just saw Dylan Danis and Logan Paul. We talked a little bit
uh,
about that. I mean, that
they
was
don't count. Dylan
they don't
Dennis
count.
is a
They don't,
joke. They don't count.
they don't deserve a topic under here. What about the bare knuckle scene? You watch any of that?
Yeah, I not interested in bare knuckle because I get slapped and I bruise.
Oh,
So like if someone I could get into a gunfight with someone, I would hit them like 18 times, rock the bejesus out of them, break their face, and they would literally flick me and my face would just open from like a tin opener across my face.
dude, I was asking because they just announced this Mike Perry Eddie Alvarez fight, and we all know Eddie Alvarez was a
That's
stellar
a war.
lightweight, just a beast, dude, the underground king. And then Mike Perry obviously like found his place, dude. Like,
I think Mike Perry's gonna kill him.
you think so? He's big,
Man,
right?
I'm a Mike Perry fan. That's how far I'll go. I'm a Mike Perry fan. That guy is just one screw loose. Like I seen Till saying the other day because Mike Perry said he hates Darren Till, and Darren was like it really upset me because I thought me and Mike were past this. Like I really like the guy. Da, da, da. I just like talk shit about him, and I was like, that's the scouts all over. Like that's what Darren is definitely like. I there is respect there. He just buries it in so much media bullshit, and I don't think Mike quite gets the fact that not everything someone says is true.
Which is the best part about him, if you ask me, bro. Like he's so like real. Like he answers the phone, he'll talk to you the same way he'll talk to a guy on an interview, the same way he'll talk to a little kid. Like he's like
Yeah,
as real as it gets. Like that guy is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
But
He is.
here's my last one I got to get from you. This is a really important one. A lot of controversy. A guy that you've definitely done work with in the past, or come across. Paddy Pimblett is fighting Tony Ferguson. This matchup is like some people are saying, oh, they're feeding Tony. Some people are saying this is the best matchup Tony's had in a while. Like, where do you see this fight kind of ending up? Like, I don't know if Tony's because he's back with his old camp, right? He's at Classic Fight Team. He's getting good work right now. I know that for a fact. But Patty's got that jujitsu. Seems like Tony's been getting taken down. Like, what's your thoughts?
Who do you think's better, Paddy Pimblett or Mike Chandler?
Michael Chandler.
Did you see what Tony did to Mike Chandler?
Yeah, the first round. I gave him the first round for sure.
Man,
I
I
mean,
thought he fucked Mike Chandler up in that first round. I thought he had his number. In the second round, he started doing the same thing. And Mike Chandler threw a head kick. When the fuck do you see Mike Chandler throw a head snap kick and kick Tony Ferguson the next week? Which this fight depends on which Tony Ferguson turns up. Which Tony Ferguson turns up and which Paddy turns up. I know it's easy to say for anyone else, but there's like 10 versions of Paddy. There's Tony. There's the Tony that turns around and he's like trying to do backflips in kids' parks and kicking poles and breaking his shins. And literally just is embarrassment to the sport. Or you've got the Tony Ferguson, who's a straight up savage, who literally murders people, like El Kui. Like the reason he is called El Kui is because he is a straight literal savage that goes in there and he'll cut you so many times you literally don't want to be in there. Like that's the one I grew up watching. When I was literally building my career through Cage Warriors, thinking that guy literally is horrendous to fight with because he just opens people up. And then all of a sudden he just went downhill. And it is CTE. Like I don't care. I'll say it. He's got really bad CTE. But I just want to know which Tony's going to come out. Is this going to be the Tony where he comes out as his last stand and rides off in the sunset, or is this going to be the Tony that turns up, thinks he's still an 18-year-old and still thinks he's the same fighter he'll always be? I don't think Paddy can finish Tony. That's my take on it. So whichever it goes, I just don't think Paddy can finish Tony.
you just sold me, bro, because I know that his camps for his last couple fights were not up to par. And I know for a fact that he is getting crazy good work. So just the fact that, you don't even think that Paddy can really get that finish, I think that just there's just 15 minutes of opportunity for Tony to do some crazy shit. And I know he's
Yeah.
gonna ask for it, you know?
I just think as well, because like when you fight these guys, this like Dan Hardy's another one. Dan Hardy's the pinnacle of it. Like, why do you think if you think GSP couldn't submit Dan Hardy, then why would you think Paddy can submit Tony? Because Tony's crazier than fucking Dan Hardy. And GSP armbarred Dan Hardy and literally nearly broke his fucking arm. And I spoke to Dan about it, and Dan was like, I wasn't tapping. He was like, he could have broke my arm. I was still getting out of that.
That's crazy. Well, we're about to get kicked out of this. So, and thanks for coming on, brother. You're the GOAT.
Appreciate it, brother. Catch you soon.
Let's go. Peace out, everybody. Let's go.